Hey, welcome back to Sip Happens. I'm your host, Show More Teeth, and this is... Wow, you followed those instructions so well, Rosie, so quickly, so well.
I knew, you know what? I knew you were going to do it too, because that's how we ended our last recording, but I was not prepared. Like, it didn't hit. I'm Rosie, the other person who hangs out here sometimes.
Yep, just sometimes. I, however, hang out here all the time. Even when you're not here, audience, I'm sitting here at my computer, just sitting in this OBS room, hoping somebody broadcasts me.
Beautiful.
I never leave. But hey, what are we doing here? I read a blurb somewhere that said this is a tea review and chat show.
Where did you read that blurb? That can't be correct.
I read it on youtube.com/Shawn Banerjee, where the VODs of these are posted, because I wrote it in the description.
Cool. Well, I think I actually do have some tea laying around. You?
I do, yeah. I genuinely lost it for a second.
Oh my goodness.
But before we get to the tea, do we have a guest today, or is it just us?
I think we have a guest. Dwight from like Big Bearded Nerd and MTD. Does that sound correct?
What? So as a big bearded nerd myself, although my beard isn't all that big right now.
No.
As a big scruffy beard, no. Big scruffy geek, nope, none of that. I'm excited to meet Dwight. I haven't met him before, so I mean, like, we did a pre-interview, but other than that, anyway,
cool.
We're also going to drink.
Look forward to that coming up.
We're also going to drink some tea, right? What are we drinking today?
This one is a Dryad Tea, and it is called Yes, Please.
It's never gonna focus.
Nope, never will. It's all about manners with this tea. Don't forget them or you'll miss out. A delicious and polite Earl Grey blend.
I love an Earl Grey, so I'm pretty excited about this. Interestingly, our ingredients for this Earl Grey blend are going to start with green tea. What?
I love it.
Okay. Green tea, lavender, cornflower, hibiscus, and natural flavors.
Yeah, natural flavors.
The best. The most natural. How long and at what temperature?
2 to 3 minutes for steeping and 180 degrees Fahrenheit or 92 Celsius.
Nice. That is an important note. A lot of dryads are at 200 degrees Celsius or Fahrenheit and something else Celsius, but 180. So be sure to watch your temps at home, y'all. If you're like me and don't have a programmable one, I'm gonna have to keep an eye on my gauge here.
That stinks. Mine just goes to the right temperature.
Yeah, well, you've always been the more fancy of us.
That's a lie. Why can't I make? Speaking of which, I can't make this work.
I don't know what I'm happy about, but like things.
I don't know what you're happy about either.
Oh, thanks. Another episode about clinical depression. Let's do it.
No, we've had so many. Let's talk about something fun.
We've had so many. Fair enough. Why don't we talk about Dwight and bringing him on screen?
Sounds great. Give me a second to get my user filled with tea here and close safely, and we can do that.
Oh, how does it smell for you?
It's a great question. Thank you for asking. It smells. It smells like something I don't know, like. Okay, please, this is terrible, Dryad. I hope you're not watching today. It smells like something like you put on your feet if they like smell bad. It's called. I don't know.
It smells like a soap or a lotion to me, but I think that's just a heavy lavender scent.
Maybe. Oh, that's why. Because I have like a thing that has lavender in it that I use on my feet sometimes.
Yeah, the lavender antifungal cream. We all have those.
It's not that. Okay, hey, let's get our guest on the show because it'd be nice to see that person and not just talk to you anymore.
Thanks.
Uh-huh. Hi, Dwight.
What have I done?
You have signed up to be on this show without really knowing.
Apparently we're drinking foot powder today. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
I just have a boring white mug today, by the
way. Hey, y'all. How we doing?
Hi, good. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. I heard like some sort of rumor that you do something like you're big bearded nerd or something weird like that. Could you explain that?
I am the big bearded nerd. Yeah, that's me. You can find me on Twitch at Big Bearded Nerd 21 because somebody's squatting on my name. There is a Big Bearded Nerd on Twitch that doesn't use the channel. So I had to put my lucky number on the back end of my tag. But anyway, yeah, that's so I don't even remember several years ago, Jake from Mini Train Domain and I, we got together. We've went on many projects over the last 7 or 8 years. We had a podcast called The Big Bearded Nerds, and we did like a web comic and some other things like that. And it just kind of, as a lot of projects tend to do, it kind of petered out after a little while. You know, you're throwing ideas at the wall. That one didn't stick, but it was one of my favorite ones that just it never went anywhere. And then when I started working with Jake and started to become a little bit more of an online presence and started to do my own thing, I was like, well, I'm bringing that name back. So that's where I came from.
That's
and
awesome.
It worked because I'm big and I have a beard, and regardless of the length and fullness of my beard, the name always fits. Because no matter what I do to my beard, I will always be a nerd. I will always have a beard, and I will always be big. And sometimes my beard will be too. So
that all works out.
Yeah.
It's a thorough explanation.
I thought that was true for me too. And then one day I woke up and it was all gone, my man. Like it just went away, and now it's slowly coming back. But
see, the last time
Pixies.
The last time I shaved my beard was for charity, and my daughter cried, and it was about a decade ago. And the last time I trimmed my beard too short, my son yelled at me. So I've just decided there's a minimum length that I have to keep it at all times. So I don't think it's going anywhere anytime soon. So
in that vein, I've never seen my father without a beard.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently he shaved it all off sometime in the like mid 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And like my brother was alive and I was not. My brother didn't recognize him and like wouldn't speak to him until he grew back. Mm-hmm. And since then he's been like, I'm never shaving it again. And I'm like, come on, I want to know what's under there.
Right?
Nobody wants to see this. This is just
protect
society. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Smart. So, Dwight, if we were to like tune into your Twitch channel,
mm-hmm.
what might us folks who don't know, what might we find?
A lot of things. I'm what apparently the kids like to call a variety streamer. Primarily, I paint minis. So actually, my tag is I paint minis and I know things. So, I paint minis and I play tabletop RPGs. And I play video games. So I'm a member of the Mini Train Domain family of channels. Jake is the parent company or the parent channel over at Mini Train Domain. We run Dungeons and Dragons over there primarily as TTRPG. And I like to focus on the non-D&D games on my channel. So we run Call of Cthulhu, Star Wars, indie games like Mecha Hack, Harbinger from Absolute Tabletop. I like tabletop RPG. I'm not a huge fan of. I love to play D&D, but it's probably like 5th or 6th on my list of like favorite sources. I love role playing, and I find a lot of the other games are better suited for my tastes. So that's what we run on my channel. And then whatever video games I feel like throwing up there. Lately, I've been playing a lot of Valheim.
Yeah.
And so I've been streaming that a little bit. So yeah, come hang out and check it out, y'all.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it does.
A lot of fun. I love getting exposed to non-D&D systems. I think D&D is amazing, and I love playing it, and I love DMing it. But it's so ubiquitous.
Right.
So I really love having a place having a place where I can go, and it like having these other systems made more accessible. Mm-hmm. At least for me. Like, go ahead. Sorry.
The way I look at it, D&D is like the jack of all trades. It does a lot of things pretty good, but I don't think D&D does any one thing great, other than getting people into the TTRPG scene. There's other things I like to do better, or I like to do that. And the certain games like Call of Cthulhu, or I like Mecha Hack because it's an indie RPG, and it is. It's super easy to learn and get people in for a quick one shot. So that's and I like like space sci-fi. So that's where like Mecha Hack and Harbinger and Star Wars really come into play. So yeah, but to each their own.
I love space sci-fi. I mean, I love fantasy, but I love space sci-fi.
Yeah.
To an inappropriate amount. So we should be better friends, is what I'm saying.
Hey, I like it.
Hey, so we didn't ask, what are you drinking? I see you got a cup over there.
I do. I have a cup. I'm not drinking tea. I don't know if that's against the rules or not. But I'm not a huge tea drinker. I do like a good Earl Grey, so I'm excited to hear more about what you're drinking today. But I am drinking Sumatran Kinriti Tuju from Sweet Maria's. This is roasted in my kitchen because I'm a coffee snob, so I roast my own beans. I have like 4 different methods for brewing my cups. This is just a drip cup today in a drip brewer, but freshly ground beans. But yeah. So I get all my coffee from a green bean supplier out in Seattle. I think they are. They ship them to me in very large bags, and I roast them at home. So
I don't roast my own coffee because I don't have space for it in my apartment. But I do get into the entry level snobbery of coffee as well. But we're going to throw you in a pit with Devin Chulik and Ben Heisler for dairy.
Okay.
Coffee on the show.
Yeah, I think that we should definitely make that at least one episode. Hi.
We'll have all of them on.
Yeah, and just be like, all right, coffee, go.
Oh, I like that. I could talk about coffee for a hot minute or 3. So,
Rosie, how's your tea? Is it ready yet?
I don't know. Oh, it's very see-through for tea. Like the water is very just like a light pink.
Mine was too, and when I took as I was taking the infuser out, that motion released like a deeper red into it.
No, hey, that's mine, but it's so good to have here. Please don't make me spill hot tea on myself.
Or worse, on your puppy. I'm using this double chambered, like insulated cup that you can just hold. Like it's pleasantly warm, but not too hot.
That's very
Don't
nice.
microwave this.
I think I talked about this cup already on a previous episode about how we went to New York and got it. Do you remember that? Does that sound familiar, Shawn?
Yep. Yeah.
Great. That's this mug.
All right. Well, I've sipped this tea, and I have some thoughts, but we'll save those for the next block.
Yeah.
Back to our guest.
So, in addition to all of your amazing role-playing games, which you discussed while I was listening to my dogs howl at each other for no reason, there's something else that you do a lot of, and I think you're pretty good at it, even though you're still working through your imposter syndrome that you said earlier. But I think you're fantastic. So what else do you like to do? What other hobby do you have?
Yeah, I'm a big mini painter. I pick up what you're putting down there, Rosie. I appreciate you leading me into that one. But yeah, I am. I paint minis. You can actually I stream on right now. It's Tuesdays and Thursdays, but that might adjust a little bit given my newfound love for playing Valheim on stream. But Tuesdays and Thursdays typically Let's Paint Tiny Things is my mini painting show, and sometimes it's just me. Sometimes I have friends on, and I paint stuff, and we hang out. And yeah, we talk about things. I am actually off this week because somebody actually hired me to paint minis for them, and it's kind of a secret project. So I can't paint it on stream without spoiling the secret. So I took the week off, and I'm painting everything off stream. And yeah, so I like to do that. I've got some here if you want to see what I paint. So
Definitely.
Awesome. So again, I'm a big Star Wars fan. I'm kind of going to go through a little bit of my 3 favorites here. This one I painted a couple years ago, and this is Darth Vader with some object source lighting. I love me some Star Wars. This was the first mini I painted where I was like, oh, I could actually probably do this. And I followed a tutorial and was like, okay, I understand how light works. There's still some things like I look at this now and I'm like, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do this. But yeah, so that was kind of the first one where I was like, okay, cool. I see how this works. I like it. So that's my Star Wars. I paint Legion, Star Wars Legion, which is a tabletop game where you put stuff on the table and you move it around. Apparently people play the game. I just paint the minis. Related to that, Warhammer 40K is another big one that does minis. Apparently, also a tabletop game that I don't play, but I have a growing collection of minis. This is Mephiston, the Lord of Death. I painted this guy on stream actually. So he is. I don't know if you can see or not, but let me see if these cameras never want to focus. But
never. We have that problem all the time.
Yeah,
that looks amazing, though.
but there are some good pictures on my website if you want to see. This one I will again. I look at this and I'll see what I would not do if I did it again, and that is coat it in a gloss varnish. This is just a semi-gloss varnish, but I wanted to see how that would do. A little too glowy for me, but I still kind of like him. So that's what I paint. This one I took a really long time to paint. But yeah, I really dig. I love again talking about space sci-fi. I love dark stuff. Evil, dark, grim, dark type stuff. It's just I like the aesthetic of this type of thing. So I really enjoy that. And then this is the big one. I just finished this fella. This is a WizKids mini. This is Bori Borgamos. He is a Cyclops. Let's see if I can get him on there. So I just finished this guy on stream a few weeks ago. This one took me about 18 hours to paint, I think is what it was. And I actually, I took 2 painting classes in the middle of this project and learned a couple of techniques that I was able to use on how to get work shadows, how to paint flesh and how to work shadows and stuff. So I was really, really excited how he turned out. So
looks fantastic.
So this is the stuff that I do. I paint. I'm lucky enough that I have through Mini Train Domain, we have a review partnership with WizKids, so we get sent minis. That's what this guy was. He was actually sent to us by WizKids to paint. So I get to paint them for free. I pay for the paints and stuff, but I get to paint them. And this one's staying on my desk at least for a little while. Sometimes I'll sell them. Sometimes I give them away. I just gave away a mini for a charity auction a couple weeks ago. I've got 2 more going out this weekend. So that seems to be what I'm doing a lot of right now is painting stuff to give away. But I have a lot of minis that I didn't pay for sitting here. So I paint them up, and I figure I'm going to paint them anyways. So if I can support some charities and stuff, then I'm going to do that. But I offer commissions if anybody's looking for a decent price on having minis painted for them. I do that. But I just paint for fun. I figure my goal is to, if I can fund my hobby with my hobby, I think I've won.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to sit here and paint anyways. And if I can make a couple bucks doing it, cool. Awesome. So, but yeah, that's kind of the big thing that's me right now is painting minis.
That is amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
So I have a question for you. Other than like WizKids or like the 40K associated minis, where do you find interesting minis to paint? And then
Atlantis Miniatures.
What is it?
Atlantis Miniatures. Let me show you this. This one I did not paint. This one actually I'll show you 2 here because I've got. This is a reference piece. So this is a mini that I purchased on commission from Alan O'Brien, Gorilla with a Brush. It's an Atlantis Minis Minotaur Barbarian. Just ridiculously good. I bought this. I took a couple classes from this artist, and I bought a mini from him because I wanted something that he'd painted to kind of use as a reference piece. So this is not even anywhere near done, so please don't compare. But this is the same mini that I'm currently working on. This one as a side project. And again, I'm taking the stuff I learned in this class. I'm looking at that mini that he painted for me to try and emulate some of those techniques as I go. But I love these guys. Atlantis minis have some just fantastic sculpts. I really enjoy painting those. I have a group of goblins. So my D&D home game, we play as goblins, and we are. But I just purchased 3 sets of goblin minis from Atlantis that I'm using to paint the minis for my group. Which actually, here's another one. I'm really proud of this one too. This one's not quite finished yet, but this is from our home group. We have a hooked horror as a pet. So,
I was watching you paint this the other day.
So I painted this guy. Yep. I painted this on I did a charity stream a few weekends ago, and I painted this guy. So yeah, this guy, I got to do his base yet, but he's just about finished. So, but yeah, that's going in the home group. But that Atlantis Minis is probably my favorite non-traditional mini provider. I really love the WizKids and the 40K stuff, but Atlantis does some great things. And I love what you can get from Hero Forge too. You can buy custom minis, and I've done a few of those, both for myself and for clients as well. So
That's
yeah,
awesome.
we're big fans of the Hero Forge custom minis around here. My partner also has this innate ability to find Kickstarters for like board games that have really high quality, or at least theoretically have high quality minis in them. And like, we have no idea what the game is about, but we just spent like, $500 backing every edition to make sure we get all 900 minis or whatever.
Yeah. This behind Darth Vader back here. I don't know if they can see it or not, but I've got a closet right behind me here, and it's full of board games that I'm going to play at some point, but they're mostly purchased just for the minis. So, and I just saw one this week that's coming out later in August. It's for Alien, and they have really high quality sculpts of like Ripley and all the characters from the original Alien movie. And I'm like, the board game sounds cool, but I want to paint those minis more than anything. So,
yeah.
Yep.
It's fantastic.
So I get that.
What are your thoughts on the Hero Forge color prints that they started doing last year?
I think those are great for people that want color, painted minis without paying for commission. I had to check. I don't know exactly I haven't looked at what they cost. I think it's like anything mass produced. You lose a little bit of artistic value in it. I mean, I can paint something that is, you don't get a lot of detail in them. It's just some basic colorings and maybe some really basic highlights. But it feels almost like it's stamped on to them versus painted. And I think you really lose some of the warmth of a hand painted figure that way. But I think it's super easy. If somebody wants them, they can go and they can find it, they can print it, and they can have it, versus going, finding it, printing it, shipping it to me, letting me paint it, shipping it back to them. It's probably more cost effective and it's more immediate. So I get it.
Fair enough. But so I've gotten a few of them, and the feedback that I keep getting from myself and others is that they're a little washed out compared to the colors that like you see in the Digital Maker. The Digital Maker is a beautiful tool, especially if you're creating tokens, things like that.
Sure.
But the pre-paint, like the color prints, not because they also have a program where you can get them professionally painted through their like artist program, right? But the color prints are a little faded, in my opinion. What I'm curious about is if anybody has painted over those, like used it as a guide and then like added detail or added highlight.
That's an interesting.
Yeah,
that'd be a really interesting approach for new painters, I think. Yeah, understanding, because that's one of the hardest things for new painters to learn is how to use color appropriately. So yeah, that could be interesting.
Well, and if I was commissioning something from you and I sent you one of those pre-color prints from Hero Forge, like these are my ideas for like what the color scheme should be, and then do whatever you want with it, right?
Right.
Anyway,
that's very cool.
Those are my thoughts.
Interesting thoughts. Yeah.
How's your tea, Rosie?
What?
I too think it's delicious out of this can.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely tastes like the lavender, like if I like a thing that you like wear around your neck, or like you can put on like for muscle relief, like if you like pull the muscle or something like that, and you can heat it up. And like if I were to, like the smell that comes out from it when I heat it up, if I imagined its taste.
So it smells like lavender and a spice, like lavender and something else. Like there's some sort of secondary spice, but mostly just lavender. And it kind of just tastes like soap.
Yeah. So Dwight, you said you do some charity work.
I do.
Tell us about your charity work.
Tell us about some of the stuff you do for charity.
Yeah. So I'll start. I got the big one. I'll say that one for last. But I do. So on my channel, we've raised money a couple times now for Feeding America. which is a big one for me. I credit food banks. Actually, I worked with food banks here in my local area for about 15 years now. And when I decided to start raising money on my channel, I wanted to continue those efforts. And I think Feeding America does a great job of passing their money along to the end user, and people that actually need money. And especially now with economy issues and moving into the winter in the middle of a pandemic, I thought, food insecurity was a very big topic to make sure people are hungry. And if we can help people not be hungry, then I think that's a great thing to do. So that's something that we will continue to support at Big Bearded Nerd, and at least a couple times a year. However, we do have, as part of Mini Terrain Domain, I am involved with Jasper's Game Day, which takes up an awful lot of my time. But I'm glad it does, because it's a fantastic organization. If you're not familiar with Jasper's Game Day, they support, raise funds for mental health awareness, especially teen suicide. And Jake got involved with Jasper's a couple of years ago. I got involved with them last year. And we produce their big event. Their big event every year or last year and now annually, was Jasper's Game Week. It's a week-long event where streaming tabletop RPGs. And 2 years ago, Jake started the event alongside Jasper's. Jasper's traditionally has done in-person events, like single or 2-day weekend events, where they go to a game store, they play D&D, and they raise money through like re-rolls and selling seats with celebrities and things like that. 2 years ago, Jake decided to do what was supposed to be a one-day stream to raise money, and it wound up being 5 days, because Jasper's was like, yeah, that sounds like a cool idea. How can we help? And wound up helping him meet some people and get some cool DMs. And Jake ran, I think it was 40 some hours of games in 2019. Nice. And then last year, I got involved to help him out, and we were just starting to plan for the 2020 event when COVID hit, and all these cons were getting canceled. Every weekend we'd hear about a new con getting canceled, and we're like, well, how do we make this event something where people can go get their fill of tabletop and whatnot, D&D. So we reached out to people. We had Chris Perkins got involved, Todd Stashwick. We had Matthew Lillard came on board. We had a lot of really cool celebrities that came and played in those games for us. Wound up running 60 hours of games last year, raising over $50,000 between auction sales and on stream funds. So we're like, okay, well, this is our thing now, and now it's become because of the success of that event, it has now become Jasper's flagship event. And so Jake and I produced that. And I'm really excited. We've started planning for that this year, and it's going to be the first week of May. I think we have, I don't know that how much of this I'm privy to say exactly, but I know that we have an event potential with D&D Beyond getting involved again this year. They're partnering with Paizo and Pathfinder. And we have a team from Australia that's going to be running some off-hours events for us. So we have the potential of running 24/7 for a few days this year. So we're really excited about what we're going to do. I've seen the list, and I think you're going to like some of the people we have coming to run games for us and playing games for us. It's going to be a very busy week, but luckily, last year, Jake and I sat in these chairs for 14 hours a day for 5 straight days. This year, we're putting together a little bit bigger team of producers so that we can share that workload. Last year, I was not producing anything yet. I was new to streaming. I didn't have the capacity to do any of that, so everything ran off of Jake's machine. This year, we have 3 producers, so we can share the workload. And I can actually get up and leave my house in the middle of the day if I need to.
That sounds ridiculous.
But yeah, so we're super excited about that. It's going to be an absolute blast. There will be something for everybody that week. It's the first week of May, which includes the 4th. So there may be some things going on around that. I don't know, but definitely So it's cool.
I don't know, but definitely.
Yeah. It's gonna be there. Keep an eye on the Jasper space, and everything is coming out via Jasper's social medias. Jake and I will be sharing that information as it comes out. But there's a lot of really cool stuff coming this year. I'm really excited to be a part of that and to most importantly raise a lot of money and put a lot of awareness. That's something you'll see anytime you come to my Twitch channel or any of the mini Train Domain channels. We will always have resources for suicide prevention and mental health awareness on our Twitch channel. So that's something that we're very passionate about and really excited to be able to make that much of an impact.
That's fantastic.
I just realized I was making silly faces in the middle of your very serious explanation of what Jasper.
That's okay.
My partner just got home and like peeked into the room and I was like, yeah. But yes, I like her and she's distracted. It is my central premise.
Yeah.
That is awesome work that you all are doing.
Yes. I've been privileged to be able to volunteer for Jaspers before, and I love the team over there. I know Rosie's worked with them some as well, and they're awesome people doing awesome things for an awesome cause.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Yeah.
It's perfect. So sometimes, Dwight, when we have a guest on, we play this game. Okay. And I'd like for you to kind of hang out and play with us.
I like games.
Yeah.
Is it embarrassing?
Sometimes.
It could be. Yeah.
I'm in. I have no shame.
So. Yay.
Last time we played, I had to sacrifice my friendship with Dr. B.
Oh no.
Yeah, that was rough.
Oh, no. That was real rough. And that wasn't even the episode Dr. B was on.
No, we didn't play when Dr. B was here, did we?
I don't think
we talked. You guys talked about hats for so long. I was like, "What is going on? Do you even see me sitting here? No, you're talking about hats. Okay.
I mean, get some hats, Rosie.
Can we talk about Shamaz? I can talk about Shamaz if you want to do that. So
let's do it.
I did notice the fantastic Shema you're sporting. They're so versatile. They're a fantastic piece of kit. So
I have a number of them. This one was given to me by a Palestinian friend when I lived in New Jersey. So he had gotten it when he was home in the West Bank, and then like when he was here, he was like, "You like these?" and just gave it to me.
I love it. They're fashionable. They're practical. I have one that is basically I have multiples, but I have one that is my camping, my hiking Shema.
Yeah.
And man, it keeps you warm. It keeps you covered. It's a pot holder.
See, look at that, Shawn.
Our audience knows that I love hiking and camping, and I use it for
Yep. Apparently, we're brothers. So
yeah.
Shawn hates those things. Don't listen to him.
So what I did use mine for, I have somewhere. It's lost somewhere in the house. I have a green one that I wore like almost every day when I was commuting to New York City, because I had this like messenger bag that was really cheap and really didn't distribute the weight well, like cut into my shoulder.
Right. So
I would like put this on and then like put the strap over it. And people at work were like, "It's summer in New York City. It's 98 degrees. Why are you putting a scarf on?" And I was like, "Stand." But the game that Rosie was mentioning.
Well, right. That's the thing.
There's an author named Chuck Klosterman. And Chuck Klosterman wrote 50 hypotheticals and 50 supertheticals. And what you need to do, Dwight, step one, is pick black or red box.
Well, black and red is my aesthetic. No? So, but I don't know what a superthetical is, so I'm going to go with red.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
All right. So
I'm nervous. I always get nervous when people pick the red one.
Had you chosen black, I would ask you a long, complicated hypothetical question, and then all of us would answer it, right? But because you have chosen red, there's an extra step, and that extra step is that the first thing you need to do is imagine a person. Okay.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, this is going to be interesting. We're going to get to know each other real well, buddy.
Okay.
So it's going to ask you to imagine a person In this case, a specific person. Like this person has a name. This is somebody you know. After you've imagined the person, then there is a prompt and question that has to do with the person. All right?
Okay, yep.
All right.
Oh, no.
If y'all want to be... Okay. This person is whichever of your parents you're less emotionally close with.
Great.
But at the time in your life when that particular relationship was at its best, imagine that this level of closeness is happening at your current age. If the parent you select is deceased, imagine that they are alive.
Christ.
You're going to have to read that for me one more time.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm going to have to read it for me one more time. This person is whichever of your parents you are less emotionally close with. But at the time in your life when that particular relationship was at its best. Like, so for me, this is my mother. Mm-hmm. But like when that relationship was at its best was probably like in the last couple of years. Imagine that level of closeness is happening at your current age.
Okay.
If the parent you select is deceased, imagine that they are alive.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with my mom. Hi, Mom. You don't watch this. But my uncle does. I'm going to go with my mom. Things have always kind of been emotionally turbulent there. Maybe my dad. He's really just distant and doesn't have feelings. No, I'm going to go with my mom. All right, I vamped for as long as I could. What about you guys?
I'm going to go with my dad. My dad and I have never been terribly close. Again, emotionally distant would be the right word. My dad's always been the provider. And he's always been kind of an introvert. So he come home from very long hours and wants to sit in front of the TV and read his newspaper and eat his Oreos. And that was about the most we got out of my dad. However,
replace Oreos with black tea, and we are brothers because that's my dad.
Right. Okay. Got it. But yeah, so it's definitely my dad. The time would be when I was in, I think it would be 5th and 6th grade. My dad was my Little League baseball coach. And I have a picture of we won a tournament, and it was literally the toilet bowl tournament from our local Little League. We were the worst team in our league, and we played in a tournament against the worst teams in all the other leagues around town. But we won that tournament. And there's a picture that we have at my mom's house or my parents' house of my dad like leaping up in the air and me leaping up in the air, like running towards him after we got the last out in that tournament. And like that's. Like, if I could pick a relationship to have with my dad, it would be that one. So.
Cool. This is such a fun question.
This is good. This is lightweight.
Lightweight. Super nice. Thanks, Chuck. Like he did this to us. Like, yeah. Like, what do you got for us, Rosie?
I am also.
Feel free to lie.
Yeah, I'm going to pick my dad as well. For all of the relationship issues my mom and I have, I still feel like she can make more than 10 minutes every 2 to 3 weeks to talk to me, which is at least what minimum of attention I need from an adult human whose DNA genetic code I have running through my system. And I'm going to, so that's about the most my dad and I can manage. And I'm going to pick a time. So I had gone through like 2 or 3 years where my dad and I didn't talk at all. And about 3 years ago now, I guess 3 years ago now, we reconnected, and my dad made time. Like we talked, like we would talk for like an hour here, and like only a couple of days would pass and we talk for another half hour. Like we really bonded, especially like politics. My dad and I are very similar. So like all of that we were really digging into. So I'm gonna, that's the time I'm going for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. We've all chosen our specific person.
All of us
now for the prompt.
chose our specific people.
But we did, right?
No, we did. It's just sad. It's just a little sad. Keep going. Let's hear what we have to do with these people.
I kind of want to switch to my dad now, but no, it's not.
Nah.
So this parent takes you aside for a private dialogue and says, I have to tell you something I've never told you before. It's something important about me. but it's really more about you. These words are delivered in a neutral manner. There are no clear signals that this information is good or bad. The conversation is then interrupted, and you will need to wait at least 5 minutes before it can resume. Longest 5 minutes ever. What do you anticipate they are going to tell you?
Really
Can
glad.
you repeat that one more time? Just the beginning, like, what am I waiting? Like, what did they say to me?
I have to tell you something I've never told you before. It's something important about me, but it's really more about you. So while we're all thinking, I'll think out loud a little bit. I can't imagine my mother ever saying this to me, or my dad for that matter, because we don't talk about important things. Like, it is not a thing we do. We just brush everything under the rug. So if she said this to me, I would either be terrified or be like, this is going to be about lunch. Like, and I'll get more specific about that when I take a moment to think. But
that's exactly the problem I'm having with this, because like the extent of my conversations with my dad, and I'm a talker, but my dad is not. I'll be like, hey, Dad, how's it going? Good. Okay, good talk. Talk to you in a week. I mean, that's the extent of our conversations, and it always has been. Every once in a while, he'll reach out and be like, hey, how's it going? How did this thing go? And I'll talk at him for 5 minutes, and I'll be like, okay, cool, talk to you next week. So there's just never been anything there. So if he were to say something like this, and it also had to do with me, it's probably some weird genetic anomaly that they found in him that's like a ticking time bomb that he needs me to know about. Because he's going to pass soon, and I'm probably, and now we know that I'm probably going to have a finite end or something like that. Because, either that or something was wrong with my mom. One of those two things. But other than that, I would not hear from my dad. So
God, I wish that was what my dad would say to me. I imagine, based on previous conversations that I have had with my father, that it's probably something like, unfortunately, you're not mad enough about how the divorce went down, and I really just can't like handle how, even though I was the difficult one in the relationship and your mother left me, that you also didn't get mad enough to like leave her. And now I'm just disappointed with your existence. So something like along those lines, about like how I didn't react in a way to a particular situation that he had wanted me to. And thusly I have become like a problem.
I feel that one.
Wow, that's pretty heavy.
If you're asking me about the relationship with my dad at its worst point, I can go down that road.
Please, so, if you would like to.
I mean,
because I've had that conversation with my dad.
Well, like my dad came out here. Like my dad came to visit towards the beginning of us talking. So like we talked, I think right around my birthday. So like February, March-ish. And then he came to visit in August. And I like remember us sitting down. We were out for, you remember when you could like go out to like restaurants for breakfast? Sat out for breakfast and we were talking, and it was like, let's just call it water under the bridge, everything that's happened. But, you know, like, you can't blame me for getting mad that your mom, like, this, and this, and how I was disappointed with how you and your brother weren't more upset. And I'm like, sure. Like, if that's how you're feeling, like, roll with it. But let's just go with the water under the bridge thing for now. Let's just go there and walk away. Yeah. That's how we dealt with all of the other things that have happened.
Yeah, I mean, again, the extent of conversations on important things I got from my dad were typically along the lines of, you're not taking good enough care of your sister, who is a perfectly formed adult who can take care of herself and is probably the most independent person in our family, but is the only daughter. And my dad's a very traditional Southern male who wants to protect his baby girl and expects me to do that as the oldest sibling. And I'm like, she didn't need help, and if she did, she'd ask me. So I've had that fight many, and I have that fight in my dreams many times. So that's one of those things that pops up occasionally. So
Love it.
I feel you on the getting outside thing though. You can see if you notice there's a bike in the background of my this is the extent of my existence. I sleep here, about 2 feet to my left. I work here and directly in front of me. I paint here and I exercise there. My world, we live in a small house with 3 kids. I don't leave because my in-laws live next door. And they both have immunocompromised issues. So we want to be able to actually see them. So we've been super cautious about not getting out. I'm the only one that goes and does anything. We get everything delivered as much as possible, but I'm the one that ventures out into the wilderness. But again, this has been my year. So I cannot wait to go have breakfast with my friends.
Right.
Can't wait. So,
I love. What part of the world are you in?
I'm in Michigan, West Michigan. That's the other problem. It's been gray and cold for 3 months. So cold. The last 2 has been so cold that I can't get outside, even like to go hiking or ride bikes with my buddies. So, yeah. I'm in just south of Grand Rapids, which is I'm about 3 hours northeast of Chicago and 2.5 hours west of Detroit. If that gives you some.
Right,
nobody knows West Michigan.
Very important question, Dwight. That brings us to a very important question that's just as heavy and involved as that last one. Detroit style pizza.
Oh God, are we doing this? Sorry. Do it. Go for it. I love it.
I can just get Devin to go host.
No. I love it. I love that we're talking about pizza again. I'm so hungry. Go ahead. What pizza do you like best? What style of pizza do I?
Yes. I am pizza agnostic. If you put pizza in front of me, I will eat it. So I don't get in on the pizza wars. I'm not a huge Chicago style pizza fan, mainly because I don't want to wait an hour for my pizza. Like when I really enjoy eating Chicago style pizza, but if I go to a pizza joint, I want to be like, give me this pizza and I need it in 5 to 15 minutes. If I have to wait 45, then I've probably gotten up and gone somewhere else. So
That's fair.
Yeah,
so Shawn.
That's me.
We have like a rating system for tea and coffee. We'll let Dwight
foot powder.
rate. And foot powder. Well, that's gonna be part of the rating system. It's gonna be part of the review. Yep. Do you want to tell Dwight our rating system?
Yeah, I can do that. It's the thing I do every episode.
I know because I love it.
Because you have the production stuff up. I have 3 monitors for no friggin' reason.
I have this many.
I believe you. All right, so Dwight, we rate our teas from 0 stars to 5 stars. 0 to 5. You with me?
Got it.
Good.
Stay
0
with
stars is bad. Would recommend against. Like if someone was like, "Hey, I was thinking about," you would knock it out of their hand. 1 star, fine. Would not order. Would drink to be polite. 2 stars, below average. Would drink, wouldn't buy. 3 stars, good. Would buy, not preferred. 3 stars is kind of like your goal for most teas. Most teas should be a 3. 4 is great. I will definitely order this again. And 5 is awesome. Must keep on hand. This is going to be a daily driver for me. So obviously 5s should be very rare. With that being said, Rosie, what are your thoughts on Yes Please?
Well, Shawn, thank you so much for asking. It is mostly still in my glass mug. So I think I'm going to give this one a 0.
Ouch.
Is this our first on-screen 0?
Listen, I do love some Dryad teas, but I like lavender as a flavor sometimes, but I don't like floral teas to begin with, so that's already a struggle. And then the sheer fact that this just kind of tastes like somebody crunched up some lavender and then put it in some hot water is not a win for me. Sorry, Dryad.
Yeah. Oh, hey, if anybody at home wants to get their own Dryad tea, you can use code SIPHAPPENS at checkout for 10% off. Thanks, Dryad. Probably don't get this, though, because for me...
Unless you like lavender.
Yeah, if you like lavender and you like floral teas, I would encourage you to get like a sampler or something and try it out and give us your ratings. You'll probably have noticed if you're a longtime fan, on our rating sheet, we have a place for community stars. And eventually we hope to like collect community thoughts on the same teas that we're drinking, and kind of like put an average rating from what other people are telling us. But for me, this is a 0. Like, if it were lavender crunched up in water, I think I'd be more okay with it than what it is, because it has that like soapy, chemically, like when I was a kid and I got like shampoo in my mouth in the shower. Oh man,
I feel like
that
that happened
really...
as a kid anyway. Like, that's a side story, but like that happened a lot.
It was the worst thing. The worst thing.
What's worse, mouth or eyes?
Mouth.
Mouth.
100% mouth. Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay.
Yep.
That's so definitive. I'm just gonna agree with you guys.
So I'm really interested in your descriptions of this tea. So I'm going to use an analogy here for that I like for my sparkling waters, which I'm a big fan of. So you get like a LaCroix or a Perrier or whatever with the flavorings in it, and like ideally, you want it to be, as my friend described it, like somebody was in the next room with a strawberry shouting at you.
Yes.
That's how water should be flavored. That's how I want my lavender tea to be flavored, like somebody shouting lavender at me from the next room, not like cramming it into my mouth. But
I also do taste that chemical. That's why, like, that foot powder or foot lotion, like I do. There's like that.
I wonder what's doing that. Like,
natural flavorings.
Is it like the like with cilantro, where some people taste cilantro and some people taste soap? I wonder if it's something like that.
I don't know. I know of that cilantro thing. I thankfully taste delicious cilantro.
I agree.
Yes.
I wonder if it's like the cornflower, maybe? Question mark.
That's what I was thinking. Like, I feel like we should go back to all of the ones that we thought had like that soapy aftertaste and see if they had cornflower in it.
Yeah.
Dryad, I'm so sorry. We love you. We love so many of your teas, but
this was not one of them.
No, please.
Just a quick Google search. The soapy flavor of lavender is so pronounced that even people who like cilantro often object to lavender flavored food and drinks. So maybe it's just a little too lavendery.
Yeah, maybe.
When I was in school, I remember one time, like going into the buffet area and getting there was a vanilla pudding with lavender flavor, and I've been chasing it since then. And it's been many, many, many years. But that particular blend, they had it figured out, and I've been like. Anyways, as a side note for how I do like lavender in things, just not this particular thing.
I'm asking my partner and my roommate to come taste this off screen and just give us their gut check.
Beautiful. While they do that, let's have Dwight tell us where we can. I know that you mentioned places we can find you on the internet, and it's been popping up, but just remind everybody where they can find you.
Absolutely. You can find me primarily, I would say, Twitter, at Big Bearded Nerd. That's where I am for the most part. If you're interested in seeing, I'll post a lot of things on there. If you're more focused on the minis themselves, and maybe some pictures of my kids and my camping trips, and you can find me on Instagram, big_bearded_nerd. My website is bigbeardednerd.com. And that's where you can go if you're interested in commissions or just seeing pictures of the minis and stuff. So that's pretty much, it's a pretty bare bones website, but it's just a landing page for me to facilitate minis and commissions and whatnot. So you can find me again, twitch.tv/bigbeardednerd21, Tuesdays and Thursdays for Let's Paint Tiny Things, and then occasionally run tabletop RPGs. First Sunday of the month is Star Wars, and after that we just throw occasional I'm sorry, second Wednesday of the month is our Mythos Tales Call of Cthulhu anthology series. And other than that, I just run one shots occasionally. And then Monday nights, you can find me on Mini Train Domain, where I'm running Dungeon of the Mad Mage, All That Glitters, as the DM. So
just a few nights a week on Twitch.
Yeah, all over the place. So what else am I going to do? Like I said, I live in this box right here. Might as well stream. So
it's just something about having kids. I hear they take time. I don't know.
Yeah.
So we have off camera CR here. CR is going to taste it and give a one word response. Go ahead. He's smelling it. He's thinking. This isn't nearly as shock jockey as I wanted it to be. He's going in for a second sip. Oh no.
Oh, okay.
He's taking it and left.
Okay.
All right. I don't know what this means. I guess that's his now.
So maybe CR likes the soapy lavender flavor better than we do.
Maybe. I'll report back in some future date if he ever actually says words again.
Yeah.
Great.
Apparently it is the same family as cilantro and hops and cannabis. So all of those provide soapy flavors, according to very brief research that I've done while talking to you.
Obviously.
I mean, research like that, and Dwight, you might earn yourself an internship here at Sip Happens.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I've already had one internship in the last year. I don't know if I can handle another, but we shall see.
Steve's on his way out. So, Shawn, where can where can the viewers find you on the internet?
Right here on twitch.tv/Rosie_games. Wednesdays and Fridays. But if you want to find me other places, check out my Twitter at Shawn Banerjee, spelled like I say it, not like web captioner says it.
It's fair.
What about you, Rosie?
At Rosie_games on Twitter. I post this stuff. I post stuff about books, and sometimes I share tweets from my friends like Dwight who are doing cool things, and I want my friends to go see them do their things. Yeah. Cool.
Very cool.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us, Dwight.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
audience.
This was a blast. So thanks for having me.
Of course.
I can sit and talk about nothing for long periods of time.
Well, next time you come on, we'll just ask an even more personal question than the one we ran.
If you could kill one of your kids, you have to choose one of your children to sacrifice to an elder god. Next time on Sip Happens.
Thank you so much.
I can't have you taste it. I can't have you taste it. Christopher Robin stole the whole cup and ran away.
Oh, you're talking to a partner. I was like, who are you talking to?
Yeah.
Thank you everybody for hanging out with us. And we can't wait to see you next week. And don't forget, Sip Happens.
Sip Happens.